Welcome to the Tell You Later Show, conveniently located at the intersection of historical and hysterical.
Sincere thanks to all those who support us on Patreon. See the full list at the end of the show. And there's always room for more.
We haven't got a title song for this show, so we're singing this thing instead.
Okay.
It's really just a substitute. Nonetheless, the melody may stay in your head.
Oh, I hope so.
'Cause it's a tune.
It's a tune.
You'll love to croon.
You'll love to croon.
But there's one thing you should know. We have to confess we do not possess a title song for this show.
Ain't it peculiar?
Believe it or not, we haven't got a title song for this show.
Oops.
Hi, it's me, Barbie, and you're with my BFF, Katie. I hope you're having fun. You guys are so cool. Bye-bye.
Right, the newspaper or just the New Yorker? Who cares?
The Times has never had any comics. No funny papers, never.
The LA Times?
Oh, I thought you meant the New York Times.
No, because
for
I'm
goodness sakes.
from here.
No, the LA Times has comics. In fact, they've had a great comic page for centuries. I have a page from 1912 up on my wall. The
Really?
LA Times. Well, it's Winsor McCay, and it's when the comics were gigantic, and his artwork is so beautiful. That was something I shared with Will Ryan. That first day meeting him, we talked about Scrooge McDuck and Winsor McCay and about Grady Sutton and Lyle Bedker and all kinds of obscure character actors and stuff.
It's fun to meet a fellow traveler.
Yes, and it's funny how Will could find those people, like even Cleveland, which isn't... it's not quite New York City or Los Angeles, but he would find the people who were into sort of 1920s and 30s cartoons and cartoonists, and he had a great friendship with this guy, Jim Elliott, who had a very old-fashioned style. He did several of the album covers for Will that looked like Disney, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the thatched roof cottages.
For Willio and Philio.
Yes, and it had just a very beautiful fairy tale cartoon look, but not of this time and place. It felt like it was, Max Fleischer or Disney or something from 1940 or something. But anyway, Will would find these people, and that would make sense. I mean, we found each other.
Yeah, there's something wonderful about the way you can find people of like minds and enjoy that.
Yes, that seems an important thing to do too. If you want to be a writer or a comic or a performer, find a community. You found that in several places. The voiceover artists and actors and so on. That must be an interesting world to be in.
It was really great, especially when I started working, in voiceover and doing post-production on movies, and realizing that most of those people were improv people, and that was my only training, was improv, and just people, when all of a sudden you realize, okay, there must be like all these different levels of wavelengths. Nothing's wrong. No one's wrong. They're just different thinking patterns, and and that's what I kind of had with Will, because we would, you sharing those ideas, you just have this. Okay, we see something and we see it the same way, or it triggers something that we both think the same thoughts.
Oh yes, that's a wonderful compliment I got that I did not deserve, but the turn of phrase. There's an artist, cartoonist, and writer named Bruce McCall, who's done a lot of New Yorker stuff. I noticed him first when he was contributed to National Lampoon, and he would do these preposterous, gigantic ship pictures and things like that, weird car ads for gigantic automobiles. But as I got to be friends with him, which was a great lucky break and privilege for me, through Steve Martin and the Downer Channel, because he was going to be a contributor, but then it turned out we didn't have the budget.
What a downer. Thank you so much to all you patrons who help us out there. We really appreciate your support. Thank you, everybody who's buying merch on Merchulator. Go to my website, katielee.com, and see there's all kinds of cool stuff, and you can see it there. or on merchalator.com. And also those who listen on Anchor, I want to shout out to you guys because I know there's a bazillion of you out there who listen, and I really appreciate you too.
Yes, it was a downer, the whole thing. But I got to know Bruce McCall. But anyway, his wife, Polly, said, "You and Bruce, you're working with the same font."
Oh, how funny.
Oh, that was so sweet. Of course, Bruce is just way more.
But isn't that funny though? There's little
Yes.
like what would you say, or like there's certain things you can like throw out like bait to see if someone bites, and then you know they've got the same sense of humor, or you like the same thing, or you
Yes.
throw out a reference and someone and they catch it, and it's
Yes.
like, oh yeah.
Well, perhaps late in the conversation to mention this odd, freakish specific that
I love odd and freakish.
Well,
bring it on.
Here it is.
Odd and freakish. Here we go. Wait a minute.
Besides the really big family, I had the odd distinction, which I think was helpful for both writing and comedy, of having a identical twin brother and being at the tail end of a large family who were fairly verbal and funny themselves to begin with. But I will just say that I would go visit some friends of Mark's, and I'd never been over their house.
Mark being your twin brother.
Patrick, my twin brother. And I would see various items on their bookcase or something, and I would make a joke about it, and they go, that's exactly what Mark said when he was here. And I went, yep, well, because we sort of formed all our reference points together.
Did you have twin language?
I don't know about that. We definitely had... We had deliberately, consciously twin language. Like we referred to non-twins as Unis. Well, they're a uni.
Okay.
And we had shorthands. Even in childhood, my playmates and siblings would not let Mark and I be on the same team in like charades or something like that, because I just guess instantly what he was. Yeah,
you feel like you have the same brain.
Yeah,
is he a writer
to some
too?
extent? Or he was a writer. He's passed away about a decade ago.
Aww.
Very sad, but like Will, it's that kind of thing. When you think of him, you just
smile,
light up. Yeah, he was a very wide-ranging. Practitioner of the written arts. He got a Tony Award for the Broadway show Hairspray.
He wrote Hairspray?
Based on John Waters' film. But,
oh, wow.
And,
that's kind of exciting.
Yes, but he also got Guggenheim's and Drama Desk Awards. He wrote many, many, many plays. He was associated with Playwrights Horizons in New York City for many years. He collaborated with Bill Irwin, if you know that guy, who's the
clown, Bill Irwin?
The clown, but also the professor. He's the writer and the thinker.
I remember
he's wonderful.
seeing him climb a ladder
once.
I don't know what that... I went to see him somewhere.
An almost singular combination of intellectual and physical clowning, that he could do very silly things. Yes, he did. He's been in straight plays, from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf to Waiting for Godot. But his physical work is just so wonderful. It's like I will speak up.
But Buster Keaton.
Yes. Or I worked for two seasons on the Seinfeld show, and while
see, there's so much we don't know about you.
Well, yeah, I was not a pillar of that organization. I was more of a shingle. But I was going to mention Kramer, Michael Richards.
But you were a shingle standout.
Yes, I
Singularity.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. But Michael Richards, I was delighted, and it made sense to me to discover he was a graduate of Clown College.
That's why he could do.
But only he could do a double take and make it really interesting and strange. Not just
different.
Straight.
Danny Thomas.
They were just very nuanced and artistic. I just thought he was beautiful at physical stuff, including just his face. So you meet practitioners, the comic arts. Oh, my brother Mark, he wrote, he did 3 different stretches at Saturday Night Live as a sketch writer, but he did not care for television because there was too much collaboration. He liked having something with his name on it. Boom. But he wrote several novels, a dozen plays.
Holy cow.
He was a cartoonist, like me, not an excellent cartoonist, but the spirit was there.
Were you both actors, too?
I don't think either of us are actors.
Have you ever done onstage stuff?
I think both of us have done that for various reasons, including...
forced labor?
Yeah, sometimes it was just they needed somebody. But he had cartoons in the New Yorker, which, by my lights, you can die happy.
That's the epitome, isn't it?
It's the epitome, the epitome, and the tippy top.
That's the zenith.
I mean,
what's that
tippy
other
top.
The tippy top?
Yes, the apex.
The apex.
The paramount.
There you go. The thessariacal word that cannot be spoken.
We're getting very Old Testament, aren't we? I mean, Hebrew Bible. I mean, Scripture. Oh boy.
Something. Oh boy. Okay, so we're gonna go down the source. I don't know. If, do you need to take a break? We've been talking a long time.
No, I think I'm all right. I mean, I'm fine. If we want to, I don't know how much talking do you want to do.
I don't know. Can we? What do you say?
Didn't you urge me to look at the bottom of my cup? Well, wasn't there going to be some sort of surprise?
Is it empty?
I'm just going to... Oh, wait. There is something under the cup.
Yeah, be careful you don't spill it.
Oh, it's inscribed to me.
Yes,
from
thank
you too.
That means you get to keep that. We appreciate you being here.
Will this be dishwasher safe?
I don't know.
I'll wash it.
If it isn't, you know what? The sentiment is there.
I'll remember.
And the sediment. Be careful because that's real coffee, so there could be.
I know. I
careful
wonder
you don't get any sediment in your
if your viewers are aware that all the coffee they see being consumed on your program, it's real.
Real. It's real coffee that I really made. Yes, that I really made.
Thank you.
So, but I thought you would like, because that was right now in stock, the last one, but it had Will's picture, so I thought you might like it.
It is really sweet. Well, I'll have happy memories of both of you.
Yours is a lot brighter color than mine. Interesting.
Well,
I hope it
just
stays
as it
that
should
way.
Be. Well, you probably got some mileage on yours.
I try to use it. So I do want to go. I still really like the idea of talking about what's funny. Because when you're writing stuff in it, because you're more of a collaborative writer,
I think
right?
that's something you just know, like, is something delicious. You know, you go, well, it should have a certain sweetness mixed with a certain surprising undertone. I think it's
when you're writing for Letterman and them, you all have to read your jokes for each other, right? And then if nobody laughs, you kind of know maybe this isn't a winner. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you.
I will.
All right, finish that thought, and I have a question.
Well, I'm just going to praise someone else that I was fortunate to work with right up until he also sadly passed away, Norm Macdonald.
Yes.
And he was someone who didn't really care whether the audience laughed or not. Because he had enough sort of faith in a joke if he was doing it, to do it no matter what the reaction. And also,
but not writing for other people. That was writing for himself.
Oh, no, just for himself.
Right?
No, I don't think he would put anyone else in that spot. But there's different ways. So even when you work on shows, sometimes there'll be the room's not laughing, but there's something about the joke that's smart and you're proud of it and you might give it a shot. People have different standards, certainly I've written for performers who go cut every joke that didn't get a laugh in the dress rehearsal, You're like, okay, it's reasonable. It's a place to start, but you never know. You never know.
Because it depends on the audience. It depends on the mood or what happened in the news that day. You could have a really funny joke that, maybe we can't say that now.
Yeah, well, there's all those considerations, but I think if you're just talking about pure effect and pure satisfaction and pure beauty and pure funniness, you have to go with your own taste. Like you like it, then that's the last word.
But okay, so you said you thought the interrupting cow was the perfect joke.
Yeah.
Is there a joke you've written that you thought was the perfect joke?
No.
Your own?
No.
What's the best?
I don't know any almost every writer I know wants to keep going back and rewriting. It's a terrible business to repeat one's own jokes.
What's the fangirl up to this week? To find out, stay tuned till after the credits.
Pete and Repeat were in a boat. Pete fell out, and who was left?
I'm going to share some emotional anguish with you now.
Uh-oh.
That was one of the nicknames that our playmates used to call Mark and I, because we were identical twins.
Pete and Repeat.
And that was actually one of the ones that was at least slightly clever. They used to be Ike and Mike. They look alike. And then there was the Bobbsey twins, which drove me mad.
Aren't those
because
girls?
A boy and a girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
so you had to figure out who was
Not
who.
identical, yeah.
But you were identical, right?
Yes, though we were different in many ways. He was left-handed, I was right-handed. In fact, the whole 10 brothers and sisters, 5 left-handed, 5 right-handed.
That's peculiar. Were your
5
parents were one of them?
5 well, no, they were both right-handed, but of course they grew up in an era where they would, beat
Had
you
to be
into
right-handed.
right-handedness. But
Interesting. We were my guest on the last show we recorded here was left-handed, and we were talking about how my son is left-handed. One of my sons is left-handed, and how there was a store in Atlanta. Did you ever go to the left-handed store?
no, but on The Simpsons,
Yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be Ned Flanders' job? He runs the left-hand emporium. Or
I don't know about
He runs
that.
a store
But
where it's all left-handed.
So they had like a
objects,
ruler where the one starts on the right, so you don't, draw
Yes.
on yourself.
Yes, well, of course, you're musical. You've seen bass players and guitar players turn the guitar upside down or switch it or become ambidextrous or whatever. I can't remember what Paul McCartney does, but he's left-handed, isn't he?
That's right. Do you play an instrument?
I play some guitar and some harmonica. When I was in school, I played French horn and
That's my
trumpet.
favorite instrument.
It is a beautiful instrument. See, and you say you're not classically inclined.
Well, I didn't say that. I said
Well,
that
you said you're-
I did actually, because I
you're
I
shelf
grew
of-
up in 2 different households.
Oh.
So one had the opera on Sunday. The other one played Tom Lear. So it depended
What
where
a
I was.
pri-
I
this
had
is-
a great.
Have you thought of writing this as a children's book?
No, I haven't.
One of my favorite children's
If you
books.
write it, you can give me credit.
I think it's by Robert Lawson, the guy who did Make Way for Ducklings. But it's called Wee Gillis. And it's about a Scottish lad who spends 6 months of the year with his people in the lowlands, and then 6 months of the year with his father's family in the highlands. And when he's in the lowlands, he has to herd cattle and shout at them and herd them and whatever. But when he's up in the highlands, he has to hold his breath and stalk deer and not give him his location.
That
away.
sounds similar to my upbringing.
But over the years, and when he becomes a teenager, he discovers he's developed such strong lungs from the calling for the cattle and the holding breath, stalking a deer, that he becomes the greatest
French horn player?
bagpiper player in all of Scotland.
Wow. Is your family Scottish?
No, they're Irish. I'm half Irish and half Slovenian. My dad's folks were from Ireland. My mom's folks were from Slovenia.
Yes.
And there aren't that many famous Slovenians. Melania Trump. Mickey Dolenz is probably
Slovenian?
the most famous Slovenian American I can think of.
Wow, they have Slovenian Hall, I think. Well, I know there's one in Denver because my ex, who I spoke about before, my whole other family, they're Slovenian.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well,
so
they are.
I know about this Pavlokoviches, actually.
Oh, yes. We were Bunchas, Medved, Novak were our branches of the Slovenian family. And
Here's a funny joke. We went to visit, and Will and I, we were in Colorado Springs and to focus on family, but I said, I want to go visit. My grandma's in my grandmother-in-law at the time was in a home, like an adult care place in Denver. So Will drove with me up there, brought his ukulele. She really couldn't remember who I was. It's really big, little short, tiny little Slovenian lady.
Oh.
But he would play the ukulele and
babushka.
entertain them, all that. And this is, and she says to me, how you doing? She says, oi, oi, oi. She says, I remember the good old days when you'd wake up sick and die that night. Now we live forever.
Oh, those were the good
The
old
good
days.
old days, yes.
I know what she means, though. In fact, I remember being confused by folk ways and phrases from my childhood. Somebody said, "Oh, pneumonia, the old man's friend." And I'd go, why would it be the old man? Because it would kill you. It would take you out of your misery.
Yeah, exactly.
But, that's a weird way of putting it. Anyway, no.
Well, that's the way, of looking at it, what's everybody's greatest dream? Just to disappear, right, in an instant.
No, it's
Not
to live
suffer.
forever without
Yeah.
any suffering.
Well, yeah, but you don't want to
to
suffer. You can't really
Yes.
kind of have one without the other.
Yes, it's like soup and sandwich.
Do you
Love and marriage.
What are you working on right now? Because you're still working, right? You're flying from coast to coast. I had to just catch you. By the way, I want to say this. Well, I hope it's good, and I don't know if we should use this in the show or not, but I might forget to tell you. At the Skirball, they're showing a movie called Lunch. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's like a documentary of Carl Reiner and all those guys Mel Brooks, when they used to
Yes.
meet for lunch, talking about comedians.
Yes.
And so they've made a documentary. We're going to go see it
I'm sure.
Sunday, and the filmmaker's going to be there to answer questions, but you're going to be out of town.
No, but I did just see a documentary the last time I was in New York, down at the Film Forum, that was called Automat, and it was about the Horn and Hard Art Automat, and Carl Reiner is frequently seen opinionating about what pie he liked best, what sandwich he liked best, which soup he liked best, and very lovingly and enthusiastically about the old automats, which were still
I used to
functioning.
see those in movies and think,
Yeah.
I want to go to one of those places.
Yeah, they're really fun. They were still functioning when I got to New York City, but of course a very gray shadow of what they
But
had.
now they have like cupcake vending machines, and somebody just posted they were in San Diego. They had a champagne vending machine.
Well, that just seems like a gimmick. It gotta have a gimmick world.
Yes, but so what? You're going back and forth all the time because
Yes.
why? Can you say? Is it a secret?
Well, I'm going to go back to. I'm teaching a class at NYU, like you. I'm going to use the whole find the funny thing.
Oh,
yes.
really?
No, in like
High five.
3 weeks. But I did finish a poem
You're
today.
teaching writing at NYU? Oh, you've got your new Tell You Later tote bag.
Cute. I love it.
Did you get that at Merchulator?
I sure did. It's so
Merchulator.com.
cute. Look,
Super
Tell
cute.
Ya Later bag, and it's got
Awesome.
everything in it.
Do they have hats?
Yes, I've not done it before, so I feel
That's fabulous.
some trepidation and pity for my students.
That is a zenithular.
It is very zinicular.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is. I think it's just that they asked me, so I said yes.
I think
because
that's amazing.
I think you're supposed to say yes as much as you can.
That's what I've been doing. It can wear you out, but it also can be pretty exhilarating. And you
Yes.
learn a lot about yourself,
Yes.
I think. And
Yes.
and stuff that you want to do again and don't want to do again.
Yes, you definitely learn both positives and negatives.
So what was your poem? You wrote a poem today, you say?
Yes, only because I wrote it this morning. I'm going to be reciting it, though they don't know it yet, at my 50th high school reunion, which will be over the weekend.
How exciting. Oh,
Yes.
but that's in Ohio, right?
Yes.
And then you're going to...
No, I'm flying to Ohio, then I'm coming back to Los Angeles.
Oh, for
and
the
then-
reunion.
Just so everyone knows where I'm.
But who knows when this is when they're actually
Yes,
going
I
to see
understand.
it.
This may well be like Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, right. Just in case. And Happy New Year. Yes. Okay. And woo, 4th of July.
Yes.
So how long is the class you're teaching at NYU?
Several months.
Wow. Do they put you up? Do they give you
I have
a fancy
I have
dorm
an apartment
room?
in New York City. I have lived in New York since.
Oh, so they
19
don't have to put you up.
No, maybe that was the principal attraction.
Yeah, we don't have to
Hiring
put them
me.
up.
No, there's not too much they have to do. I don't need a parking spot. I don't need anything.
Oh, that's lovely. I did tour NYU with my son. Okay, you know this. My older one, who's left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
He when he turned 18, I said, I want to do something because his birthday's in October, so there's usually that Columbus Day holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let's do something really unusual. Where do you want to go? Well, I'll take you. And he said Paris. I said it's just for the weekend. We can't go to Paris just for the weekend. Pick another place. And he said Hyde Park. He was a fan of Franklin Roosevelt. He wanted to go to Hyde Park. And I said,
It's a great little outing.
yeah, I said, I think we could do that. So we flew and rented a car. And we found out NYU was having an open house that weekend. So I said, let's go visit NYU. And we got to go there first, and that was near Washington Park. And I knew where I was. For some reason, I actually visited Will in New York years ago when he was working at Henson, and so I was familiar a little bit with the area. We went to NYU. we sat through their presentation, and I was just drooling. I thought, oh, I wish I could go to school here. I would love to sign back up and go back to university. And he wanted to be a director at the time. And then we drove. We went up to Hyde Park. We got the tour of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and came home, and that was quite a trip. But that was our NYU experience.
And why do you think NYU appealed to you? Do you like the fact that it was in a city and urban and exciting and crowded?
It was that, and just everything they said they were going to teach, everything about production and stuff that I didn't know. And they just seemed like they were there to coddle you and make you have a really good time. And for only $40,000 a year, you too could have this experience. And
Yes, NYU is costly, isn't it? I don't know why I had the impression that it would be like a state school or something.
I don't think there's a lot of states. Well, maybe in the East Coast and the West Coast, but in the Midwest, I think everything seems to be private. There's hardly any state school. So will you read us your poem?
No, because it's full of inside jokes.
Okay.
Plus, there's a lot of
Bad words?
No, well, there's a lot of Slovenian words.
Really?
No, there's a lot of Slovenian last names because Cleveland is filled with Slovenians. So I've made some music with the last names of my classmates. You know, there's a Safranic, Stefanik, Bilardo, Lombardo. There were many.
Got to have a lot of rhymes. Is that Tom Lehrer had da-da-da-da-da-da-da? He did that too.
Yeah, he made a beautiful song out of the periodic table of elements.
Yes.
Titanium, aluminum. Yeah, it's fantastic.
He did that, and he taught math at a college I did go to.
MIT?
No, Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz.
Oh, how about that?
Yes, he was there at the time, but I never got a peek of him.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's still with us, I believe.
That would be nice.
Yes. No, he just seems fantastic. That kind of song parody is there's not enough good practitioners of it.
Randy Rogel is famous for doing that for the Animaniacs cartoon.
Oh, okay, very good.
If you've never seen Animaniacs, go to YouTube and watch. I mean, that's what they're famous for. That's how all the kids in my kids' generation learn the states, the names of the states, the names of the countries.
Yes.
Yeah, Rob Paulson sings the countries of the whole world, and they're all done like that. Yeah.
How about that? Yes, there's a guy named Andy Preboy who does pretty good intricate sort of Gilbert and Sullivan-like songs with a lot of social commentary and pop cultural references and so on. Anyway, it's
so what are you going to be teaching
Mad
at
Magazine
NYU?
used to be great in that way.
That's right, to be sung to the tune of,
to
right?
the tune of. You almost needed that because
Yes.
obviously they didn't have any audio portion until...
My French, and speaking of UC Santa Cruz, I took French, and our final, for some reason, the guy who was my partner, we ended up singing like an operetta, our French final, using all the words in operatic form. That made it fun.
Yeah, ça va mieux.
Oui.
Yes, Offenbach, perhaps.
Well, they didn't often ask us Bach, but you know what? I was glad to leave.
My twin brother, again with his many unusual characteristics, instead of writing a term paper for our European history class in high school, he wrote a musical survey of European history. It had like Louis XIV singing, "I'm strictly a sovereign." And he had a great Joan of Arc song, which is "I'm getting martyred in the morning."
Oh no.
Ding dong, the bells are gonna chime. So roll up the thatches and strike up the matches, but sink me in the church sometime. So
I think on that note, there's a lot of things I still want to ask you,
Yes,
but that left a really big smile on my face.
Yes.
So will you come back and
Sure.
what?
We'll remember Mark O'Donnell, we'll remember Will Ryan, and we'll talk about new things as well.
Yes, and so now you can say the name of the show. Say, hey, is there anything else you'd like to tell us?
I'll tell you later.
Tell You Later is a Patreon-driven entertainment show. So what are you waiting for? Come on over. Join us at patreon.com/Tell You Later.
Say, Will, there are words to that tune?
Sure enough are, Westy, and they go like this. My horse likes accordion music. That's his kind of stuff. Yes, my horse likes accordion music. He just can't get enough. So if you don't like accordion music, I'll sympathize with you. But my horse likes accordion music.
And we have a scavenger hunt on the wall to tell the story. So can you believe some people don't know the story of the language in the wardrobe?
Yeah, I've known it for a long time, so yeah, it's crazy that people don't know it.
Isn't this amazing? I know, but we came in through the wardrobe. Do you think we could get out that door and we turned out?
I bet so.
All right, let's do it. Oh, hey, Wooten. And as we're walking down downtown Main Street, Holstein's Books, the Men's Market, and wait till you see Camp One.
Camp One-A-Nut.
Do you want to go in?
I want to go in, please.
We're just going to come in for just a minute.
Camp One-A-Nut.